And welcome to another episode of the VenuePro podcast. Today, we're very lucky to be talking to two fantastic guests from Fritz's Adventure, which is a much loved indoor and outdoor adventure park with a huge range of activities and attractions, including climbing walls, zip lines, underground tunnels, cement mixers, suspension bridges, laser mazes, and ropes courses. So, action packed. There are currently two locations for Fritz's Adventure, one in Branson, Missouri, and one in the Colony in Texas. And I'm sure the team have ambitions for many, many more over the years. On our guest list today, we have Grace Frankowski, who's Director of Marketing at Fritz's Adventure, and Julie Krisch, who's the Director of Safety and Compliance. So thanks very much to you both for joining us today. It's really appreciated and a very warm welcome to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, guys. So first question, probably for you, Grace, if that's okay, but Julie, feel free to interject as you see fit. So Grace, Fritz's Adventure, it's a unique concept. You know, if the viewers want to have a look at the website, they'll see what an original concept it is. But where did the original idea come from, and how has it evolved since the original opening?
Yeah, of course. So truly Fritz's Adventure, it was an idea thought up by a family. So, right? So our owners, he's a general contractor by trade. That's really where you get a ton of our industrial elements and inspiration. But not only is he that general contractor, he's a father of 5 sons. So when you have 5 boys, you are constantly doing stuff, right? So hiking, biking, caving, climbing, really you name it. And then so just one day they're like, hey, if you could put everything that you wanted, what would you put in the building? Like asking his sons. But the answers were surprising. Of course, there were answers related to activities they'd done as a family, but also as activities related to just like real life things that you normally get to do, right? So like running over rock piles on a job site or through like storm drains before they're installed on a job site. Like it's real world stuff that you really can't do. So how do we marry that into the building, right? So they had gone to the Air and Space Museum. How do you get a real life airplane in a building, but also an airplane that you can like pull on the yoke, play with the switches, get inside and feel like you're truly the pilot? So it's really that whole idea was a backyard idea. How can we build something like the area community can come and have a good time? And it grew from there, right? Like it's truly grown because of the demand that it needed to. It was a dream accomplished. We did it. We've had such success in Branson, Missouri, that it's like, okay, let's do this. Let's take the adventure to a few more locations. And we did open our second location in the Colony, Texas this year, and we've gotten great response from that as well. So we're just really excited to see how it keeps growing. The business keeps growing. We've added so many attractions over the years as well. We're basically a giant warehouse, and when you think of an idea to put in it, he can build it.
Yeah, amazing. So just basically imagination. Whatever you think of, you can build, which is
Yeah.
yeah, which shows as well. I mean, just I mean, obviously I've not been there. I'd love to come and have a look at some point, but just from the website and from the pictures, yeah, it looks incredible. So
Yeah, I liken him to a mad scientist, but like the general contractor version of it, like a mad general contractor where it's just chaos, but controlled chaos and exciting stuff. So yeah.
absolutely. And so, I mean, I think you've kind of touched on it already, but from your perspective, Julie, what do you think sets Fritz's apart from other adventure parks and other kind of family entertainment venues that are out there?
I think it's really just kind of the uniqueness, right? Like you're able to we're providing experience for people that they don't normally get, right? Like climbing into the inside of a cement mixer, running into underground tunnels, being up on zip lines and ropes courses. These aren't everyday actions that people are doing. And so when we've jammed it all into one building, it kind of gives you that experience that you don't get anywhere else. And you also have this dynamic experience with the group of people you're with, whether it's a family, a friend group, a field trip, family reunion, anything like that. They all get to experience it together. So the uniqueness of seeing something cool, experiencing something cool, and them making eye contact with each other of like, this is neat, isn't it? Right? Going up on the zip line, challenging themselves to literally reach new heights is just a unique experience, right? The building's cool. We have a really great staff that kind of foster that experience with our guests. And so we just tried to hit it from every angle, whether it's a cool experience or our guides are taking people along. It's just unique.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. So, Grace, coming back to you. So, in terms of obviously the growth, you've had the initial location. You've gone from the kind of 1 to 2. I'm assuming there's ambition to kind of go further than 2 and open multiple locations. How do you kind of balance staying true to the original vision, but with the need to kind of constantly innovate, improve visitor experiences, and just make sure you're delivering a world-class venue and experience at all times?
Yeah, of course. Well, our owner, CEO, general contractor is very involved, right? So I kind of consider him our true north. So our creators are involved in the process around the way, like all around the way. And so they always help us redirect to maybe that original vision. But aside from that, right, it's truly just focusing on that experience for the guest, right? So how do we create an environment and in that environment deliver an experience that's second to none? Yes, like the intricacies of our attractions and their uniqueness, like that can attract people to us. It can give them a great time. But then how do we even impact that great time apart from that, right? So like our team engages at a high level with our guests. Like our mission is to create wow moments. And that literally is like, wow, I walk in, there's a plane hanging and I'm face to face with it. Or it's a kid being able to climb the wall and say like, I did it. And they turn to their mom, and that's a wow moment for the mom too, right? So it's all a balance between that. Like we are centered around families and adventure, and we want to stay grounded in that mission, but we also want to like listen to our guests and get their feedback, stay ahead of industry trends, just to keep us fresh and help us always improve.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes perfect sense. Yeah, and I suppose having the original founders, the creators, so involved, you're not going to stray too far away from that original vision, which is great. Julie, in terms of kind of the challenges of running, not only a large venue with high footfall, but also a venue that has a diverse age range as well. Multiple activities, multiple ages, lots of things going on at any one time. What are the kind of the biggest challenges for you in terms of safety and compliance?
Well, I think safety and compliance is easy in that realm in terms of there are industry experts that we consult with, right? So whether we're talking to ACCT International, which is the Association for Challenge Course Technology, or we're talking to different vendors, we're always staying in front of the industry trends of what is best practices for safety, what is best practices for training. The challenges come in when we start to interact with our guests, right? When we have so many different age ranges, 0 all the way up to grandma that wants to get up on the zip lines. That's probably the hardest part, is meeting each of our guests where they are. And so as long as we're providing a safe environment and we are hitting all of our standards and making sure we're compliant with everything, the challenging part comes in with serving our guests. And so the part of training that we layer onto that is the guest experience training and customer service, right? Grandma might not be getting up on the zip lines. Our 4-year-olds might not be going through the cement mixer, but we need to make sure that we're providing that guest service, those customer experiences for our guests. And so that's where that training comes in. We have a guest experience handbook just to make sure that we're taking care of our guests when they're here. Safety is no brainer, where you follow the standards and you'll be safe there.
And so I guess that kind of also leads into staffing, training. Is there much of a kind of induction? I'm assuming it's quite a big induction process for the team, training process for the team. And do you have a fairly kind of significant churn rate, or do you have good staff retention in that regard?
We have really good staff retention. Our 2 different locations are different types of markets. So our Branson market is much more of the tourism-based realm. It's a tourism destination, whereas the Colony location is much more, families about town that live nearby. And so we're meeting them in 2 different spaces. So in terms of staffing, Branson ebbs and flows. We have lots of high schoolers and college students that come and go with the influx of our guests during those high peak seasons. And then in Texas, we just work to have full-time employees that are there through the duration of the year. And that helps us keep consistent. We do pride ourselves on being an employer of choice. So making sure that, we're giving our staff members, our team members, the tools and resources they need to do their jobs. So that is adequate onboarding, adequate training, just ensuring that they can deliver on the expectations that we have for them and that our guests also have for us. And so we haven't had a lot of turnover just because we're consistent with our training.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I'm not ignoring you, Grace, but just one more question for Julie, and then we'll come back to you. What role does technology play in keeping kind of everyone safe and the systems running securely and ensuring that every visitor has as safe as possible and risk-free as possible experience?
Sure. Yeah, so when I think about technology, it's easy to think about like the digital realm of things and tracking that way. And that still plays a part. We still have, documentation that we need to track training and trends in our building. But ultimately, our technology falls more in the realm of aerial adventure, having people at height. So when I started in the aerial adventure industry 15 years ago, there was only one continuous belay system. And a continuous belay system is basically you attach a guest to a loop and then they stay safe and connected to the course the entire time. There's nothing they can do to disconnect it. 15 years ago, there was only one option. Now there is a multitude of options. So it's working with our vendors, our professional vendor members with the ACCT to make sure that we have the correct technology. Something that's coming down the pipeline is Headrush, which is our auto belay systems, are coming out with a height sensor that works off of barometric pressure. So it will tell you where a guest is at height and whether or not they're connected to something. So they're getting ready to roll that out. And that's something that we are looking at product testing with them. But it's always a matter of what is the industry putting out that's going to keep people safer in terms of, different equipment that we have within those realms, like the height sensor. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, amazing. Really good. So back to Grace and talk about marketing. So you'll be pleased to hear that. How do you kind of market a venue that's both a local attraction and a destination experience? I'm guessing people will travel quite a distance to come to Fritz's. So how does that work in terms of that promotion, getting out local audience, but also promoting further afield?
Yeah, so it's definitely like a two-pronged approach, right? Like locally, we try and emphasize repeat visits, maybe some like special event, new reason to come and check out the building. But then when we talk about more for our tourist market, right? Like regionally and nationally, really Fritz's is just a must-visit destination that's worth the trip. So we're both really have storytelling around family adventure. It's the common thread in both those strategies. And we never try to be something we're not, right? So like, we're not a trampoline park. We're not just a normal jungle gym. We're not a place to just drop off your kids and leave. We are a real deal adventure park. Like, we are made of concrete and steel. Like, you come, this is the experience. This is our promise to you for you to come and have a great time. And then it's sort of like an under promise and over deliver. We're so much more than that. We're so much more than just a climbing wall. Just the details in the building and like where you can transport yourself, right? Like, we're an immersive experience. And so to focus on that experience and the opportunity for our guests to like make those wow moments, that is just, it's kind of throughout both.
Do people actually try and leave their kids with you and go off?
No. I think the misconception is just for kids, right?
I see.
Oh, I'm going to drop my kids off, or I'm just going to watch them play. It's always funny when a parent comes and they're like, oh, just Hayes playing. But then you see them screaming on a zip line like an hour later with their kid and having a great time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's probably quite infectious, I would have thought. And what kind of channels, platforms, campaigns have been most effective for you in driving kind of new audiences and rising awareness, but also how do you kind of keep guests coming back for more?
Yeah, so definitely like paid digital campaigns, social media storytelling, And then just partnerships regionally as well, right? So whether that's in Branson with our local CVB, they're a great tourism organization to help drive not just focus to Fritz's, but the community at large. And then also just those local partnerships to hit that like more regional local market, whether that be like our Parks and Rec system, a local charity, something of the sort, have really been key ways we've reached new audiences. And then we hold annual like New Year's Eve event or just different fun things to get people to come back, a fresh reason to come back and experience something new.
Yeah, okay, that's brilliant. And in terms of sort of guest feedback and data, obviously that's becoming increasingly important, and collection of data has become increasingly easier with technology. How do you collect data? How do you use data? Without obviously giving anything away confidential. And how do you use that then to kind of improve marketing and operations? Probably a question for both of you.
Yeah, so we're always looking at like guest surveys, online reviews, just constantly. We're reviewing those as a company. We do regularly poll our guests and ask them questions, right? So both through just email marketing for people that came to visit, as well as we have an in-park survey for more in the moment, you're in the adventure, like tell us what you really think. Just all offered with a complimentary fountain drink or coffee through our cafe, right? Tell us how you feel and we'll give you a refreshment, because we want to know how our guests view us, right? What do they love so we can keep doing it? What would they do differently so maybe we can evaluate if we should? It really helps us create, it's a cycle of listening, adjusting, and enhancing that experience.
Yeah. And anything from you, Julie, on the kind of more the operational side?
Yeah, I think we need to, when we're taking in our data, we're looking at everything, because even if we're just getting one single comment about something, it's still that guest experience is important. So looking at all the data as a whole to look at trends, but also looking at the small little bits of like, what can we do to improve the guest experience, even just for one person. So Grace has done good with giving us that information and allowing us to pivot where we need to, or sometimes guests will ask us for things that we already have, and we just need to do a better job of communicating that to them. So she's done a great job of telling us, kind of guiding us in the direction that the guests are giving us feedback for.
Yeah, absolutely. And what does the future look like for Fritz's? I'm assuming it's looking pretty bright, but is there any kind of upcoming expansions, new locations, new attractions in the current locations?
So we have a couple of things that are coming into Branson. In Branson, one of the main pushes in the next about 18 months or so is we have Via Ferrata wall, which Via Ferrata is an iron way, it stands for Iron Way, right? And so those are the side of the mountain climbing that you see people doing where they're clipped in, but they're, on the rock face. And so we have that on the outside wall of our location in Branson. And like I said, in the next 18 months, we're going to be tying that into our treetops experience. And so instead of it being a standalone experience that only groups can book, it'll be available to our everyday guests. And so we're really excited about that change. And we'll have more locations to come too, but those are secret for now.
Yeah, absolutely. And just kind of thinking about the next generation of operators and marketers, what lessons, a question for both of you, what kind of lessons would you give that you've learned yourselves from marketing generally, from operations, and from managing these venues that venue operators in the future could benefit from?
Yeah, family entertainment is an exciting business, but you definitely have to be ready to change, pivot, adjust at any moment, right? Like people have a prerogative and you do have to meet them where they're at, just like Julie said, right? So truly one of the biggest lessons I think is just the guest experience is everything. There are some non-negotiables, right? Like safety is a non-negotiable, but past that, it's like, how do we meet our guests where they are? How do we create a meaningful, like memorable moment? And then those guests, they are our best marketers, right? Like those are the people we need to be our spokespeople in the world. So you just balance that with the operational excellence that Julie like brings with our team, and it's authentic, right? And when it's authentic, it's a story that people want to tell for you.
And anything on your side, Julie?
I think I would add in, as an operator, you need to figure out what the best practices are, right? You could come up with a way to do something in your brain or think a guest is going to interact with something a certain way, but best practices is always to consult the industry that you're in, right? What's everybody doing? What's the safest way to do something? Let's figure out the best process and procedure for it. Let's not just sit here from our own perspective and make decisions, but kind of loop in those industry experts and collect data on our guests to make sure we understand the experience that we're providing, and we're not just throwing stuff at the wall, right? We want to make sure we've got, you know, evidence-based practices when we're running our facility, and I would tell any new operator that same advice.
Yeah, that's great advice from you both, and thanks so much. I mean, I think you're right. It sounds like you know, you're obviously running a great operation there, a great venue, and I think the best marketing channel is word of mouth. You know, so if you're building that reputation, if you're giving amazing experiences to people, they're going to talk about it to their friends and family. They're going to come back time and time again. They're going to post about it on social media, and that's kind of the best marketing you can get. So, yeah, I think looking after guests and giving great experiences is probably your best marketing channel. But thanks so much to you both. Really great to discuss this with you. Really great to find out more about Fritz's Adventure. Please do check the website out. We'll add the Fritz's Adventure website in the description to this video. And please do check VenuePro.co as well for more information on VenuePro. But thanks again, guys. And hopefully we'll speak again soon.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.